Ralph Covert here. Welcome to my songwriting class. Today we're going to talk about basic chord theory. So a lot of folks, when they start writing songs, tend to get stuck in the same 3-4 chords. So I'm going to show you a basic understanding of harmonic chord theory in a way that's very applicable and usable for you as a songwriter. And that at the very least is going to move you from having 3 or 4 chords to work with to having an automatic set of 7 in whatever key you're in. And then you'll be able to apply that to any other key. So, one of the things when you're starting to write and starting to learn to do stuff is figuring out which chords go together. This is going to show you how to do that. And it's going to broaden your palette of choices you have for which chords you know to use. So, you've heard of a note scale. Here's C major note scale. Right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's 7 notes in a scale. If I play from C to C, there's 8, because the C on the bottom is the same as the C on the top, an octave higher. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 8 bring me back to the C. That's a tonal scale. So every scale has a corresponding note scale and a corresponding chord scale. The way you build the chords in a key is very simple. You just take every other note of the note scale. So in this case, my first chord would be C, skip the D, go to the E, skip the F, go to the G. And there's my C chord. The next chord would start on the D. Every other note would be D, F, A, E minor, F, G, A minor, B, and so forth up the scale. So there are going to be some major chords and some minor chords. We're going to have another video where I go into more of a deep dive into the different 12 tones. The 12 tones that are used to create the 7 note scales, and explain the name and some basic functions of each of those 12 tones. We're not going to do that today because I want to really focus on getting these 7 chords into your hand. Now, there's a system of chord notation called Nashville notation. And what it is you use numbers to indicate the chords in the order of the scale. The reason you would do this is if I'm Jim, Bob and Nashville back in the 1950s when they came up with this method, and I'm singing, a song, my song that I'm singing tonight. This is my song I'm singing tonight. This is my song. So I've got this song. Right now I'm in the key of C. Now let's say the singer in the band is a girl who's got a higher voice than mine. So when she sings a song, she doesn't want to sing it down here. She wants to sing it maybe this song that I'm singing tonight. This song that I'm singing tonight. She wants to sing it way up there because that's where her voice is naturally strong. Clearly mine isn't. So there's 2 ways I could do that. I could learn the song in all these different keys, and then somebody else sings it next week and he likes it down here. This song I'm singing tonight. Right? I could learn the same song in all these different keys, or I could learn the song based on the relative position of the chords to each other, right? It's the same song. It's just higher or lower key. So the way that they notate that when you learn the song based on its relative key is instead of saying C and F and C and F, well, in the key of C, that would be C is the first note. So they would call that the 1 chord. And F is the 1, 2, 3, 4th note, right? C, D, E, F is the 4th note. And so it would also be the 4th chord. So if I named the chords, it'd be the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 7 chord, back to the 1 chord. You're with me on that? Not that complicated, but it's very powerful. It's very handy. Now, in Nashville notation, the way it works, because there are going to be some major chords and some minor chords, and some more complicated name chords that, again, we'll deal with in another video. The way they do that in Nashville notation is if it's a major chord, they use Roman numerals for all of them. So a major chord is going to be a capital Roman numeral, and a minor chord is going to be a lowercase Roman numeral. Simple way to differentiate. So in this case, my C chord is major, my D is minor, my E is minor, my F is major, my G is major, my A is minor, and my B, I'm going to get to in a minute. It's interesting. So the way that would look is Roman numeral capital 1, lowercase 2, lowercase 3, capital 4, capital 5, lowercase vi for 6. Now the 7 in this case, it's minor, but it's a very unusual minor. It's a minor 7 flat 5. Again, we're going to deal with that in the other video, but in simplest terms, it's a minor chord with a 7 on top and a flatted 5th. One of the great things about chord names is they say exactly what they are. If human beings were like that, life would be so much simpler. Because it'd be like, hi, I'm a lying, cheating son of a gun. And you go, oh, hi, Bob, lying, cheating son of a gun. I know he's a lying, cheating son of a gun. Or, hey, I'm Ralph, songwriter. Oh, Ralph's a songwriter. So that's the nice thing about chords, is that you know exactly what they are when they say their name. So in the key of C, my chord scale, if you know the notes of the note scale, you're going to be able to apply the same pattern of chords. So in C major, and there's another video we'll do where I talk about different modes, different major and minor modes. There's a bunch of different keys and modes that are really fascinating and really awesome. I'm not going to worry about those today. We're going to deal with just your basic major key called Ionian mode. It's your C major on the piano, all the white keys in C. One of 7 different modes and a bunch of different interesting other minor keys and stuff. Let's just deal with C, your basic white bread C major. So in C, my note scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now the pattern of majors and minors is always the same, no matter what key you're in. So if I'm in F, where my note scale is F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, it's going to be the same pattern of majors and minors, only with those notes, with those letter names. So your Ionian major, your basic white bread major, 1, major 1, minor 2 and 3, major 4 and 5, minor 6, and the 7 is a minor 7 flat 5, which we'll deal with in another video. But in C, you're just stacking every other white note. What this does is this then gives you the tools. Now instead of just, you know you're in C, you can figure out, you know the notes of your scale. You then have 7 chords, or at the very least 6, if you're not worrying about that complicated 7th chord for the moment, which will deepen the tools you have to write your song. So. And just so you know, on the guitar, if you're curious about that B minor 7 flat 5 chord, the way you play that on the guitar is you focus on the middle 4 strings, and actually this same pattern slides up and down the neck, so any other key you're in, you can get to it very simply. On the A string, which is the 2nd string up from the bottom, you're going to play a B, which is the 2nd fret. On the third string, which is the D string, you're playing F, which is the third fret on the third string. That's your 7. In this case, it's a tritone. So that's your flat 5, I mean. So then play an A on the G string, which is your 7. And then the third fret on the B string, which is the D. So 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret of the middle 4 strings. It'll give you this. B minor 7, flat 5. Any other scale or chord key that you need to do that in, as long as your bottom finger is on the fret that corresponds with that note, that same pattern of zigzagging across the frets is going to give you the chord. So if you wanted a D minor 7, flat 5, you'd find that D right here, and you play. If you wanted a C minor 7, flat 5, here's your C, right? 3rd fret on the A string. And there's your C minor 7, flat 5. So it's not that complicated to get to on the guitar. We'll deal with this in another video, but that's a similar pattern of fretting to your diminished chord, which is the same zigzag, only happens on the skinniest 4 strings. So and I will deal with those in the more complex harmonics lesson. But that's your diminished chord, your minor 7, flat 5 chord, the same pattern, zigzagging only in the middle 4, and that's on the highest 4 strings. So there you have it. Basic harmonic theory. You can take those 7 chords in any key. Nashville notation will tell you what the order of chords is between major and minor. If you look at the notes of the scale and then apply the pattern of major and minor chords to it, you can now have a home key in any key on your guitar or piano just by looking at the scale, applying that pattern of majors and minors for the chords. And you've got a 7-chord toolbox to work on and make choices with your songwriting. There you have it. Happy writing. See you soon.
Maybe we don't belong together. I won't tell if you won't work.